Hi everyone, I'm Rachel. In today's tutorial, I want to teach you how to color dark skin using the Color Therapy app. The Brown 2 palette is what you'll want to use to shade people of darker skin color. I'll show you how to combine these shades to create luminous skin. Alright, so to start off, I'm going to tap in my base color. I'll be using the 6th color on the second row of the Brown 2 palette. Now let's start off with our lowlights and shadows. So I'm going to be using the 4th color on the top row, a dark brown. And then let's use the spray tool, set the size at 70 and opacity at 50. And let's turn coloring inside the lines mode to off. So the spray tool is going to cover large areas better than the airbrush tool. So what I'm doing is I'm just adding in my largest shadows. So we'll add it underneath the jawline. This template also already has some shadows in there for you, so you can kind of follow those. Underneath the head a little bit on the right side. We'll also go behind the ear and just a touch under the cheekbone area. Now I'll just raise the size to 100 and let's use the first color on the last row. So now we're using our mid-tone color. So this is going to be the foundation for our highlights. So I'm spraying above the cheekbone area and into the head, around the ear, down the neck, and a little bit along the jaw. Now let's begin to refine everything. So we're going to switch over to the airbrush tool. Let's set the size to 65 and opacity at 50. We're going to continue now with our highlights. So along the cheekbone, I'm just going to start to add some layers and building that up, getting lighter and lighter, as well as along the jawline. There's also going to be some highlights coming up around the nose here, right around the lips, right underneath the eyebrow, and then right around the top of the ear. And then in the neck, you can start to draw highlights there as well, following that template. Drawing those tendons in the neck. Now let's focus even more on the details of the ears and nose and eyes. So let's lower the airbrush tool down to 10%. You can work between 10 and 25% depending on your detail areas. I'm going to start with 20% and I'm just going to be tracing around the ear. And lower again if you need to. Starting to add in details of the ear. I'm just following the template. And for the nose, it's just going to be curving up around the nose and then up to the eye. Again, highlight right above the eye under the eyebrow. And the tip of the nose, it'll come down a little bit. Lower the size as needed. Just adding that highlight along the nose. Now, continuing to define those areas, let's now go back in with our shadow color. So that was the 4th color on the top row of the Brown 2 palette. Just using the same settings from the airbrush tool, we're going to add in the darker areas now. So focusing on the ear, I'm just adding it into the tragus area and then down, curving around, following those template lines. And behind the ear as well, just adding that shadow. Under the lips, there's a shadow, and then along the nose. The size I'm using right now is 12, and I'm just bringing it up along the bridge of the nose and color in the eyebrow and darken the eyelid. And then of course the nostril is going to be very dark. Let's go back to the spray tool now. Let's set the size at 40 and opacity at 50. Now using black, we're going to shade our darkest shadows. So just right directly underneath the jaw and neck area, and then just underneath the back of the head a little bit. They're just really building up those shadows and highlights. Now let's use our brightest highlight color. I'm going to be using the 4th color from the right on the last row of the Brown 2 palette. With the airbrush tool, let's set the size at 70 and opacity at 50. And let's go ahead and brighten those large highlight areas. So along the neck, just following those lines there in the template, on the shoulders, etc. Cheekbones, jaw. You can also switch over to the spray tool, size at 100, and with that highlight color, you can just add a little bit of texture into the head if your subject is bald. Now you'll want to finish up with the rest of the details such as the eyes, nose, mouth, and ears, and I can show you how to do those in my other tutorials. See my tutorials on how to color a realistic ear and nose for more detailed steps on those. If you'd like to see more tutorials like this, don't forget to subscribe to the Color Therapy YouTube channel so you don't miss any new tutorial videos. Thanks for watching our tutorial. You can get the Color Therapy app for free on the App Store.